Sup nerds, own goal here. I'm going to be bringing you a way to counter ranged boxes. This game is the tournament finals of an SFT that Turin just hosted between my Lizards and Danican's Doc. Doc has been doing really well against Lizards this season, but not against what we're doing. So we've taken a pretty melee oriented build. We have a lot of skinks to sponge damage and absorb some fire. We have a very cheap Lord and Hero pairing. So these will trade up and they don't cost very much. It's 1,000 between them. Then we have some Croxagors that do magic damage, a whole lot of Cav, and a little bit of poke. So not very much shooting, and we're very built to attack a ranged box or just have just enough shooting to take off like an SE or a Changebringer build. So we spawn in, and we see that he's gone for like a full-on horror box. If we just rush this right away, he'll pretty easily kill us, and this is what this game is showing. This happens a lot in Domination. Uh, so what we're going to do instead is go contest the points, but not give him a good fight. So our objective is to take 1 point and then do a build-up, get a lot more melee units, and then engage. Over here, he does a nice summon, comes out of the woods, tries to get a catch. This is one of the beautiful things about Skink Skirms. They're probably the best unit on the Lizard roster. Just the regular 425s. They're quite fast, and because of their spread formation and decent health, they don't actually really get taken out that easily by Cav. You can't give them like a permanent one-on-one, but they can run away for a while until help gets there. And here what we're trying to do is posture to push him back without actually engaging. So this will give him the sense that there's going to be a defensive engage and he needs to back off. But what we're actually trying to do is just hold 1 point or so that he doesn't get too far ahead. 2, if he lets us, well, we just pull very far ahead on points. Here we're attempting to go for a tactic where we swing over more gold than he has in a localized fight and take the fight, and that'll get us an advantage. But Danican sees it and backs off. In this case, feints like this can be good if you have ranged units because they're forced between taking the engage and then losing because you have more coming, or backing off and letting you shoot them in the back. So that's a case where like the feint, while he can dodge it, still gets us some value one way or the other. But we're pretty indifferent on what happens on the left side here because we hold 1 point and time is passing. So as long as we're trading about even and we're summoning more lizards, we feel pretty good because this ball of ranged is not going to be able to deal with a big melee front line and a lot of Cav to dive it. He just doesn't have enough defensive pieces, which is the cost of doing one of these like all-in early game ranged boxes. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. You'll be able to see like at a macro level that we're both buying for points, and it'll give you an idea what I mean when I say like poke them a little bit and take what you can get. Like we're getting some small advantages over here. But it's critical. Like he's tried to engage a couple times while our force was split top. Don't take the fight with the big army when you're outnumbered. So a quick pause. What we're attempting to do is line up all the skinks and heavy mass onto units it's vulnerable against. So we want to get like a big surrounding concave. And then when it's time to go, we get, a melee unit or two on each front line and try to push through with the mass and tie up his back. And that gives him very little time to shoot. And then once all his stuff is tied up in melee, it'll just be a snowball. We're using Sally Packs. Love this unit to provide a little pressure. It's a very fast shooting piece. So even though he has more shooting, there's like a little zone where our Sally Packs can hang out and just poke whatever they can get, which puts them in an uncomfortable spot, ties up some micro, and they have a ton of ammo, so it's almost like a free roll. They've got explosive damage. They're good against Inf. So we're using them in that capacity. Once the fight goes, because we have more melee Cav than he does, these are pretty safe, and they'll hang out in the back just sniping things. So there's more posturing going on. This is a really good situation for us in that we've had 2 points. So not only do we get to build up, which is our primary game plan, but we have some potential to get outs if we lose the main fight on tempo. And then what's made us decide to go is that we're far enough into the game that we're going to supply cap. The Demons of Chaos have like a pretty good property in that if they run out of troops, they can just resummon the disintegrated demons. So we've gone, like 740, which is about as late as we can in a Cav heavy build, while still not gold capping. We both basically like literally summon our entire armies. Here's a nice little charge trick. So when you're collapsing with the melee buildup, they'll often focus fire your Cav. If you can spot that the Cav that they've focused, you just pull it out. So I just did that on his horrors and he missed a whole volley. And then we come right back in because, he's got good target selection. And you can see we've tried to spread out a little bit. The execution actually could have been slightly better if we spread this mass like in a bigger arc and slip more of it through. We're showing up in the center last because he has like a fire cone here to take out anything. So we came in from the sides, danced in and out of a little bit of range, and then we broke through the center. And now he's really in pretty deep shit. This is what we want to see. The lizard hordes are all up on the interior of his units. We've got melee in with horrors. We've got our Sally's pretty safe in the backline pocket. He's trying to do some dives, but we've got plenty of skink skirms protecting them. These guys are kind of a wombo combo and a little bit of sleeper cav. His best unit here is these fiends, which he's mismicroing a little bit here, like by not sending them in. But that's okay. We take those. Um, and now we kind of just run him over. Like he sends the fiends in. He could have sent these in earlier and not made the mistake. A little bit of a lapse, but it wouldn't have mattered. We're winning by so much, and these Sally packs have actually been free to snipe fiends, which might have been why he was zoning them out. But nothing in his whole army can contest the Sally packs. Like the Furies land, and then we just immediately fight them. So you can see we're just completely blowing him out. This game is exceedingly over, and it's because we have more stats and more shield, more health than he can shoot, and he doesn't have enough melee to contest us. So that's kind of like a melee buildup into a shooting box. Really classic tactic, great way to flip some matchups that would otherwise be tough. You can see that no one unit really was the workhorse. They all kind of worked together and did their job. Cav doing quite well. Skink's doing pretty well. Sally Pack's doing well. They were full health and still had ammo left. And on the Damon side, really not a lot of units are getting their value because he just didn't have much opportunity to fight back. If you're Danny, here you can take like a little bit more melee infantry, like just a couple pieces so you don't get overwhelmed. Like some bloodletters, and then there's a fight, but we still have decent odds against them. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you like this kind of content, remember to subscribe. See you soon, nerds.